Welcome back, guys. It is Kibbs from the Brothers Geek Out podcast. I hope you guys have been all well and safe. We have a special guest on the show today. I want to say a massive thank you to Nick Singh Reviews for coming on. Bro, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
No, you're welcome, man. Big shout out to Clinton and Debs from Through the Crowd. I saw their recent episode with Nick on there. Nick
Yeah,
reached
shout out.
out and said, let's collaborate. So definitely, man. This is the Geek Out sessions, bro. So here we get to geek out about you, a couple of things you've watched,
Mhm.
your favorite films,
Yeah.
things you like, and kind of go from there. I mean, I talk, bro. I talk. So sometimes you maybe have to say, Kibbs, like, slow down, slow down. But I love this show. I love doing the podcast. And
Yeah.
guys, as always, socials are all in the description. If you're listening to this on Spotify or Amazon or Apple Podcasts and click on the links below, Nick's socials will be there. To follow his journey, he does reviews on TV shows and movies. He does have some really outlandish opinions that I didn't agree with. I saw your recent video on DC characters, bro. Come on, please. How? Uh, but all good. How have you been? Tell me, bro. How's things?
I'm good. I'm good, my brother. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Literally uh just chilling in it. Chilling,
Yeah.
making content, making videos, reviews, all of that type of stuff. So yeah. Yeah.
So I heard your origin story on Through the Cow and
Yes.
acting.
Yeah.
Tell me, is this something that this has been kind of like you've been wanting to do for a while, or is
What
it stumbled
this
upon?
review thing? This review thing.
Review, well, because you said you were doing acting, so casting at the
Yeah.
same time. So before you
Well,
jumped into the reviewer,
yeah, so basically what I'm doing right now on social media,
yeah,
I was basically sort of doing this before, but without the socials. I was having conversations like how I'm doing with my friends. I'd have
yeah,
conversations with like one-to-ones. I'd have like flipping like random debates, like versus debates, who'd win and this, that, and like I have mad debates like that. Um, and it wouldn't even just be about Marvel or TV shows or films. It will be about music. It will be about
mm,
like video games. You know what I'm saying? Um, but obviously, where acting was my main thing at the time,
yeah,
that was what my focus was. So obviously, when COVID happened, it literally just like took it basically just froze everything. The industry froze. I wasn't
yeah.
getting all of the jobs that I wanted to get. Every time I auditioned, I just found myself like not getting anywhere that I wanted to get with when I was in sort of in that particular space. Um, and yeah, so when I remember when I was on a FaceTime call with one of my friends, he basically said to me, "Well, why don't you just start this little YouTube thing or a review thing? Just record yourself, literally 2, 3 minutes, what you like about a film, what you don't like about a film, upload it to the gram, and then see what happens." And then literally, I've just been doing that, and then I was like, "Cool, yeah,
No, it's really good because I feel like as creatives, something like that pops off and it kind of gives you a bit more inspiration to push on to say,
mm,
oh, you know what, this is actually all right. And if you connect with one person,
mm,
that kind of like it's rewarding and kind of like somebody agrees with me as well or
yeah,
disagrees with me, but
yeah,
you can have a civilized conversation about it. I've realized
100%."
like the community we got now, like I started TikTok again like 2 years ago, and it's been an amazing journey on there.
Mm,
uh Good times, bad times. I think that there's a level of how much you keep yourself focused in. For me anyway, personally, I've come to a point now where it's like, what do I put out there and how do I put it out there? And I'm
mm,
quite political when it comes to certain things. So I've seen it slowly change,
mm,
but I suppose that makes me feel in a different way about how I see
yeah.
social media now. Because how do you find it when you put out a certain amount of content and you're like, oh, it's not getting the feedback I was kind of thinking or going to receive? Like, how do you kind of compose yourself after? Like, do you just continue to keep pushing stuff out, or do you have a different process?
Just that, man. It's funny you say that actually because I made a video recently and I spent ages like filming it, or it was a TikTok one, ages filming it, editing it, making sure I got the subtitles, all of that type of stuff. And I think it only got like maybe a few hundred views or something. I'm like not that it was doing crazy or something before, but I thought that because I put, that extra time, that extra
Effort
effort,
in, yeah.
I mean, and then it doesn't even get past 2 mil views. I'm just like, oh man, this is some bullshit. And then like I'm looking at a video that I'd done, which took me like what 2 minutes to make. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then it's getting like what 3, 4, 5, 600 views, and I'm like, what the hell is this bullshit? You know what I'm saying? So
So yeah.
in those ones, you sort of you have to sort of take it in the chin, charge it to the game. Do you know what I'm saying? It's one of those ones, not just sound like that guy, but if you get it's hard for me because I'm still in the beginning stages. So
Mm,
when I want to see those views, I want to see that big those big numbers, them
mm.
Drake type of numbers. You know what I'm saying on my, on my channel. You know what I'm saying. So I'll try to get that cash. You know what I'm saying. But obviously this is a steady process,
Yeah.
and I have to keep reminding myself that look at the end of the day, if you upload a video and it's only got like I don't know 50 likes, who liked your post. Do you know what I'm saying? If if I don't know if I saw one post somewhere where like if you're out and about and I don't know you got like a nice t-shirt on or something, 50 people compliment you, it's gonna make you feel a type of way. Just what I'm saying. But I feel like
Ooh.
social media, I feel
Yeah.
like I feel like social media has this thing of like, oh, if if you haven't got like a specific number of like followers or likes, you're not really rated. But then you just have to remind yourself, look, at the end of the day, 50 people liked your post. That's not a small number. You know what I'm
No.
saying? It's not a small number. So
It's
just take it on the chin and just appreciate what it is that you have, because these sort of small fans that you've got, they're the ones that are actually gonna help you get to those
yeah, bro.
like next level. Do you know what I'm saying?
100%. Nini, you're gonna be drumming right now while Daddy's talking. I love this girl. So basically, you're so right. You know, theories by T, yeah, Tyro. Not sure if you follow
Yeah,
his content.
I think so. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So basically, when he started his journey, and then I can't remember where I met him. It was Star Wars Celebration last. Was it sure the year before? Can't remember. And he said the same thing. Like I was coming to a point where I had to have like a little break because I was like, TikTok kind of really that blew up like
Yeah.
really quickly, but then
Yeah.
it stagnated and just dropped, and you're in the mid ranges right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
The numbers don't add up, but it's just because of the way it's how oversaturated
Yeah. 100%.
social media is right now. So like
100%. Yeah.
it's going to be hard to connect. You've got to have such a hook to bring
Mm,
people in, but then
mm.
it's like that's a lot of work.
It is.
Where
It
it's a
is.
free thing where you're like, you know what, I'm just gonna pop because I realized what you said. Like I did a video that took like a minute
Yeah.
that's got good views, and then I do a really good video with edits and even add special effects in, and you're like, bro, I got barely anything on there, and we don't
Exactly. Yeah.
appreciate like the craftsmanship in what we do. So
Exactly.
could you, as you said about that quote, Tyrell said the same thing to me, and he was like, bro, just try and imagine yourself in a room full of 100 people that liked your post. How overwhelming would that be for you? And he was so right. And it was like them 100 people, 50 people, 10 people that liked your post. You should appreciate you're getting that,
Yeah.
you know?
100%.
And I
100%.
think it kind of changed my perspective on how I do things now.
Yeah.
Like you get the hype always will take over. Like when you get
Yeah.
the one video or something like that pops off, or you get opportunities from it as well. Like our journey in the past 2 years has been like insane because it was like, oh my god, like we had opportunities. Like we've done this for 10 years now, and we started doing like screenings and stuff probably 5 years ago. Some
Mm.
great opportunities came out of like just like when we. It was my personal Instagram account where I do art, so it was
Yeah.
promoting my artwork and stuff like that,
Yeah.
and the workshops that I do. But I didn't realize that it was going to go into different avenues of like working with Warner Brothers or working with Marvel and stuff like that, where we're doing marketing or meet and greets with like some
Mhm.
people, and you're like, oh my god, this
Yeah.
is insane. But like I think right now, the way I've seen it now, it doesn't matter what your following is or whatever it is. It's about how much you love what you do,
Exactly. Exactly.
and I think that will get you opportunities because I ain't got a big following, bro. Like sometimes I'm in a room with people and I'm like, bro, man, you got a million followers. I'm
Yeah.
in the wrong room here. But Nah, man,
exactly.
100%. You deserve to be in that room, but it's how you
Yeah,
place yourself in that room.
100%,
But
100%. And I think also it's important as well to you have to find that right balance as well, because one thing I've noticed is when you're making these videos, a lot of the time they can be very, very taxing. They can be very like emotionally taxing, especially when you're doing like the edits and everything like that. And you've also got to remember, like, even though yes, it is TikTok, there's a specific way for you to like clock how the algorithm works in order for you to get those views and those
mm,
numbers. You know what
mm,
I'm saying? In order for you to do that, you have to sort of follow a particular pattern, use certain words, this, that, and the other, just so that you can get the views that you want. But at the cost of doing that, it's like it makes your videos feel a lot less organic. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's one of those ones where you have to find the right balance. But ultimately, yeah, it's one of those things where you just have to take like one step at a time. As long as you know what it is that you're doing, then you get me, you're set. You know what I mean?
nah, you're gonna smash it, bro. You just keep at it.
Thank you.
Uh, as you know, man, it's a hard graft all in all areas. So it's
Yeah.
like it's amazing to see people come out. Like from what I'm seeing now at the moment is people coming out of their shows and coming out and I feel like I grew up in an era where I couldn't wear the stuff I love on my sleeves.
Mm,
Where now it's like, wow, this is mainstream.
mm.
This is insane. Like I went to school 30 years ago, bro. Well, actually, more than that, but it's like 30 years ago. And like I couldn't really even have a conversation with people if it was regarding manga, Marvel, comic books, or stuff, something like that. It was
Yeah,
a
yeah.
different era back then.
Mm,
To I was almost like a closet geek.
mm.
And it's like, wow, 20 since like Spider-Man and
Yeah,
X-Men movies came out,
MCU and all of
I
that.
was
Yeah.
like, you know what? Man, they're actually doing this. Like,
Mm,
and they're making it mainstream where it's coming to a point where like I can start saying, boys, you know what? I got like 3,000 comic books in my yard, And they're like, what? And I was like, yeah, man, I'm a massive geek. I love this stuff, man. They're doing the Avengers movie and it changed the world for me personally because it was like
yeah,
one of those things where it was like I grew up in an area where it was like it wasn't really based on that
yeah, yeah.
and the culture of it. Like we grew up with 80s and 90s cartoons,
Right.
maybe a bit of Power Rangers and wrestling as well. But it was like,
Yeah, yeah.
you start talking about comic book stuff and it was a whole different era
It's
when it came
different.
to that.
Yeah, but yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So I'm kind of happy to see it so mainstream now and the amount of people I
Yeah.
can connect with now because like
Mm.
I didn't like Phase One.
Swear down.
Yeah. So when I first saw like Iron Man and Captain America and Thor in cinema, I was like, this is amazing, but it's not like comic book accurate. Like I was one of those comic
Yeah,
book heads. I was the
yeah,
comic book guy. I was like, no, like didn't work. And then when it came to the Avengers movie, and I was like, oh my God, like they did something here. And then
mm,
that's when I started appreciating it. And I was like I completely fell in love with how they united those stories. But it's not that. I finally became a fan of people adapting big stories like that to the main screen. And I had appreciation for what the writers had to do and what the
uh,
directors had to do because you're talking about putting 100 years of mythos, or maybe 50 years, like Iron Man, 60 years, into a movie where it's up to date so that you can bring in the new fans
but
and then you
still
bring
adhere
in
to the old
someone,
one.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. And I found like I never appreciated that. Like when I watch movies before, and I'm not a critic, I'm just a fan. Is
we all are.
yeah, like I just watched the movie for what it was. I didn't have to break it down and
Yeah,
like kind of see what was happening. But Avengers, something happened. My brain exploded in that moment, man. I was like, holy like they really done this really well. And
yeah.
that's when I appreciated it more. Like I like Phase One now, but back then when I first saw
Back
them,
then,
I came out
yeah.
the cinema upset, man.
Do you know what it is? Yeah, I felt so with me. Obviously, my opinion's different because I only started. I liked Marvel, but I was not familiar with the comics or familiar with like certain characters until
Mm,
MCU became a thing. Do you see what I'm saying? Now, one of my favorite characters is Spider-Man. And
mhm.
for me, I don't care what anybody says, Andrew Garfield is my favorite Spider-Man. I thought he bodied it. He was absolutely flipping amazing. Um And it really annoyed me when I first saw Tom Holland Spider-Man, because I weren't a fan of this, like, you know what I'm saying? This like skinny you talking, like making all of these like funny, annoying little jokes and everything like that. Yeah. Um, and then when I saw him in Avengers and Infinity War and Far From Home, my opinion started to change.
Mm.
And obviously, when No Way Home came out, that's when I obviously like I started to fuck with him more. But then when Home came out, I was like, yeah, you know what? That I fuck with this guy. Do you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah, 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 yeah.
And it was only like after those sort of films came out, I actually started appreciating Homecoming, and
Mm.
obviously his little bit in Civil War as well. Because even like with Homecoming, I appreciated it so much more as a film, and how it obviously adhered to the character and the comics. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Um, and I thought like just as a film, it was so well structured. It was something completely different as well, like a sort of innocent coming of age film, but
Yes.
it still had that action. It still had that um like that thing that we love about Spider-Man. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I sort of felt that way about Spider-Man, to be honest.
Then no, they did good. I think it took. I mean, we've got a younger Peter Parker than we usually do because it's
Yeah,
not a 30-year-old playing an 18-year-old.
yeah,
So
yeah.
that was the one thing, and I think I appreciated what Marvel did because what they did back then. I know they've rushed Phase 4 a lot.
Mm,
They took some risks in Phase 4, but I think what they did in the first three was first phase, like 1 to 3, is really make us love those characters,
yeah,
and I think
100%.
that's where they messed up with Phase 4.
Mm.
And I shouldn't say messed up. You know, they took risk. I think anybody takes risks,
Phase
and
four
I
is
think
the recent one, isn't it? The like
yeah, the
this.
recent one, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that's
yeah.
from No Way
Now,
Home to
basically.
what we've got recently. I
Yeah.
think
No,
yeah. So
mate, I'm on the same page as you. I'm on the same page as you.
like
I think,
give and take. Some of it worked, some of it didn't work, but I feel like they took risk, and I think that's the one thing about like if for me as a avid comic book reader, there are some awful stories in there as well. So it's like
mm,
it's going to be hard, but I think the Disney money making machine was trying to pump out as much as
yeah,
they can, then realize, all right, Bob Iger come back, and he was like, nah, look,
yeah.
slow this thing down because we're losing
Yeah,
money now.
it's like they're treating it like the Assassin's Creed franchise. You know what I'm saying that they clock how popular it's getting. So it's just it is really annoying, man, because Marvel were really on top of this whole bullshit. And do you know what? I was actually speaking to one of my friends about this, yeah. And it was about the whole Robert Downey Jr. casting
Yeah,
of Doom. And obviously, I'm thinking to myself, listen, look, I fuck with Robert Downey Jr. Um, but what in the hell is happening here? What in the hell is happening here? Um, to me, it just seemed like a massive sort of rush. It seems like that like they were sort of trying to grasp at different ideas, different actors, um, and they just wanted to pick the easy options. You know what I'm saying? And obviously, they got the Russo brothers back in. It's not to say that I don't think he can do a sick job, but you take a look at a villain like Thanos. He was teased throughout literally multiple films. I'd say what across 10 years, more or less. He
yeah,
was.
no, exactly. Yeah, it took us
You know what I'm
10 years
saying?
for us to
Yeah,
finally
10
get.
years. So the
Yeah,
seed was all planted. Obviously now we've been told that Doctor Doom is going to make his first appearance in Fantastic Four, allegedly, which is going to be next year. And then obviously the year after that, we're going to get Avengers Secret Wars. So yeah,
Doomsday, right? Doomsday and then Secret Wars.
Doom's. Yeah, sorry, my bad.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I meant, yeah, so it'd be Doomsday. Listen, I agree with you on that, and I
Mm,
think it's like a quick cash grab, a quick
100%.
grab with like fans' attention suddenly. And as always, I'm down for RDJ, man.
Yeah,
RDJ is
of course.
absolutely awesome. I think that guy has earned his respect in that field with he's that great inspiring underdog story that went through prison and back and drug abuse and always in the papers to suddenly the man of change. Like I look up to the dude, man. I gotta say, like that guy, like when I saw him coming back to Iron Man after Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, and I was like, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang is an awesome film. If you haven't seen it, that's with Val Kilmer. It's directed by Mel Gibson,
Mm,
and it's like one of his comeback films.
mm,
It's like dark, witty comedy.
mm,
And then he came in to do Iron Man, and I was like, wow, this is interesting because I always thought back then they had Tom Cruise on the run to play Tony Stark. So I was
mm.
like, you know what, Tom Cruise, I can see that, but I just felt like Tom Cruise had this baby thing about him. Like,
Mm,
even though my guy is 60 plus, he's still got this babyish thing about him, which I'm like, I don't know. I can't see him as Tony Stark. Tony
mm,
Stark is a much darker character. And
mm.
then John Favreau fought Disney to get Robert Downey Jr.
Well
on there.
done,
And I was
Jim,
like,
yeah.
okay, cool. So I think what they've done is smart. At the end of the day, bro, they are marketer, like they're marketing guys. Like I've done marketing for 20 years. I know what they're doing exactly. But I think because I'm both ways about it, because it was
Mm.
like you gave RDJ such a great arc.
This is what I'm trying to say.
How do you not disturb that? Bring him back in without disturbing that.
You
So
know what
I
I'm
think
saying?
what they're gonna do, he's gonna be heavy prosthetics. They'll put shitload of makeup on him. We
Mm.
we won't even tell it's him. And depending on how his acting is, he's already good at acting. So I'm
Yeah,
sure
I
Oscar
have.
winning. So yeah,
Yeah. I mean, I have no doubt about his acting ability. It just boils down to what the Russo brothers do. I do have obviously faith in the Russo brothers because they did. I think Avengers, Civil War, and Endgame, Infinity War, Civil War, and Endgame were amazing. Um,
Winter Soldier, bro. For me, Winter Soldier.
oh yeah, of course.
Oh
Don't get it
yeah.
twisted. Winter Soldier is cold, but I just need to give like these guys props for
The
these
other movies they did, yeah, that's right.
because like without a doubt, like Civil War, Infinity War, and Endgame, they were absolute, especially like the last two films, they were cinematic masterpieces, my bro.
Yeah.
Like they were absolutely
Infinity
amazing.
War is the
Yeah,
one that for me, yeah, it's like
Infinity
such
War,
a
100%.
so good, so good.
Even if you're
Uh,
even if you're not a comic book fan,
mm,
but it just because of the current state of Marvel right now and where they're just constantly pushing out so much content, and obviously you have Robert Downey Jr., I think it's safe to say, has made the character of Iron Man become so iconic. Do you see what I'm saying?
100%,
So iconic.
100%.
But you then to use the same actor in order to try and achieve the same thing with another villain, where that villain in, let's just say, cinematic history hasn't had the best reputation because, you know what I'm saying? It's very, very risky. I personally don't want, if they know what they're doing, they know what they're doing, and that's fine, cool. But with the current, I'm just worried because where the current state of Marvel feels like they're just trying to rush to try and recreate the same sort of effect that Infinity War and Thanos and all of that type of thing had. I'm just worried that there's a chance that it may tarnish what Robert Downey Jr. has achieved in his legacy as Iron Man. And I don't want that for him. I don't want that for him because what he has done as Iron Man, he's like you said, he deserves to be Iron Man. Like from what it is that he's overcome. For me personally, if it were like I would have rather had another actor play Doctor Doom. Um Either like I don't know if you saw one of my videos, but like I think Killian Murphy, I think he'd be
Yeah, you
sick.
said that. Killian
Yeah,
won't jump on that though. He's not on that.
he's not, but
Yeah, he
still,
would have been good. He would have been good. He would have been
Mads
good.
Mikkelsen. You know what I'm saying? Like one of these dons.
He
You know what
was
I'm
on
saying?
the run. He was on the roster for that as well.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I think they had him on the list, but they listen for them to get Downey back and the conversations and what we've seen from online and the rest of it, it's that the writing had to be on point, and what they wanted to do is give justice to this character because
Mm,
it hasn't been well for him in the previous movie. So we just have to wait and see. I think as fans as well, is us detaching a little bit as well. Like if we are going to go in critical, then go in fresh minded and try and see it differently. Like take a step
yeah,
back. Like, I think that's where I've enjoyed movies that other people haven't enjoyed. Where it's like I'm here to just get taken away, man. My life's hard enough as it is. So
yeah,
take me away for 2.5 hours, man.
yeah,
I don't smoke weed no more. So please take me
yeah.
away. So
That's
it's like that's my escapism. So that's why I'm like, I suppose some people may not enjoy my views on how I enjoy stuff that they don't like, but just the way it is, man, I suppose. And
mm,
I feel like I could do that with, because I've done that with the whole of Phase 4. And like, so what did we get out of Phase 4? Moon Knight,
mm,
Miss Marvel, not many people enjoyed, but I absolutely enjoyed it.
really.
And it's not even about the writing and the rest of it. It was like, man, I'm seeing brown people in here now, man. It's about time we see
Mm,
some brown people in MCU. Uh, Falcon and Winter Soldier, I enjoyed. That reminded me of Lethal Weapon. So like they have these good odd things. They had the Marvel rush, which is like first 3, 4 episodes are really good, and then they rush everything at the end of it.
yeah, yeah.
Loki was really good. Season 2 was insanely good. Uh, movies wise, and I think it's slept on. Not many people talk about it. Wakanda Forever was really good, uh,
Really?
but we didn't have time for the movies to breathe for us to enjoy it. So we
Yeah,
come
yeah,
out of COVID, yeah, and we've just been fluctuated with all of this shit.
yeah,
And then it's like, what gives you time to let it breathe for a little bit? Because like
yeah.
back then, when I was watching the film, so say like, what was the film I watched? Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, 1990.
Yeah.
I saw that in cinema. I had to wait 2 years and paid £75 for a VHS to
Yeah,
get it. My dad was pissed. My dad was pissed. It's all I wanted. Me and my brothers all the VHS. Get me that £75 we paid for that VHS,
yeah.
and then wait like another 3 or 4 years before it came on ITV, and they cut things out of that one anyway. So you're like,
Okay.
I came from that era of patience. So it really, that's why I think I still marinate on movies that came out in the 80s and 90s, even though people will be like, oh, practical effects was this and that, but it's like, no, man, it's like that craftsmanship in writing and movie making. Like that first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie is like the comic books. It's so dark, bro. Everything's shot at night. Things happen at night. It's
Mm.
violent and it's got this dark comedic humor to it. And I don't think not a lot of
One
people
of
get
those.
that. Have you ever seen that original movie?
I think I have.
You
Yeah,
know,
I
they
think.
have the real latex suits on, and
Yeah, the puppet,
they've
the
got
like the
yeah,
costume.
yeah. So I
Yeah,
love
yeah,
that
yeah.
real authentic style of movie making because it's tangible. Like
Mm.
I know that I could touch that because when I watch a new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the one that Michael Bay did, like I don't like I like the unrealistic look at what they did, and to be honest, and then me, I still enjoyed those movies for what they were. Yeah,
Yeah,
I love the camaraderie between the brothers. I think that's why I've always connected to that. It's because me and my friends are like that, or me and my brothers are
yeah, of
like that.
course.
So I think those movies may have not been story wise good. I still had fun because the brothers, man, the turtles just bring some fun. But I think the tangible feeling where you have physical props, like I suppose Star Wars, a lot of people like because it's got that physicality to it.
Mm.
Uh, the older movies, anyway, some of the new movies. But that's why I keep going back. Like if I'm gonna rewatch a movie again, and everybody's like, "Why don't you just jump on Netflix and watch something new?" It's like, nah.
Mm.
There's something about watching like Batman Begins, and it's like I could touch every single prop there. It feels real, and
Mm.
it connects with me. That's why it's hard for me to kind of say, some of the newer stuff that we've got in the MCU. There's
Mm.
not really any. There's not that tangibility to it because it's like a massive green screen effect, and
Yeah,
that's hard enough. Like, I think what they've done with technology is amazing. As an artist, I know where we came from when it
yeah,
came to like visual effects to what we've come to now.
yeah,
It's insane, bro. Like, you're in a scene where Hulk and Thanos are like having arms on a ship in space with Thor and Loki, and it's like,
yeah,
man, you read that stuff in the comic books and you translate that onto the big
yeah,
screen. Like, that's
yeah.
amazing. But there are some projects like you're like, what happened to the budget on that? Like,
Mm. That is
because
true.
they weren't giving us the same quality they were given because even within Infinity War and Endgames, we had what, a year in between. We had a year in between to marinate that movie and really enjoy it. Because like I could watch, like movies don't have rewatchability, but Infinity War was one of those movies that I probably watched. Like I watched it like 4 times in cinema, and I remember buying it from Zavi and watching it on Blu-ray before I
Right.
started streaming it again. Good several times, bro. Because I'm like, I don't think I have never had that feeling of what they did in Infinity War. This is the first time what in that type of superhero film the good guys lost in that.
Yeah, yeah.
That took me by surprise that they actually did that, and I was like that was amazing to end on that type of cliffhanger.
Mm.
To say, oh shit, they lost. Thanos clicked, man. Should
Yeah,
have took his head off, man.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, definitely, definitely.
But going. I'm gonna go off that because I think I get too passionate about that. Yeah, way too passionate. Have you seen anything recently that you've been really enjoying?
Uh, Blink Twice.
Yes, how you find that?
Yeah, yeah. I thought it was a very good film. I thought, Zoe Kravitz absolutely flipping amazing as a director. absolutely
Mm,
amazing as a director. Um, she basically with this film, she knew what it is that she wanted. She knew what she wanted. Um, she structured it perfectly. The plot, the writing, the characters,
mm.
everything clicked together. It wasn't it like, bro, I watched that film Trap, yeah, with by some dog shit film, I'll be real. It was some dog shit film. Very, very mid. Um, and this is actually coming from a director, do you see what I'm saying? And then obviously
Mm.
to have an actress who transitions into to that role and to produce a film like that of that particular quality. I'm not even just talking about the story and the characters, which was flipping phenomenal in and of itself, but the way the colors were used.
Yeah,
Um, she played. I don't know if you've heard anything about it, but
little bit. Yeah.
one thing that she really does in the movie is she plays around with the sound a lot. She really plays around with the sound, and
Oh,
um it's like, for example, I don't know if you've seen the trailer, but matey Channing Tatum, he's smoking a vape. When he's
yes.
smoking the vape, when he's inhaling, you can hear like the crackling, bubbling sounds. Like it's And she really makes a point in order to emphasize that, so that like most of the other sounds get drowned out, so that all you can hear is just the
Is that
crackling.
crackling?
Is
Yeah,
that
so
crack?
that's like evoking emotions while you're
Exactly.
watching something like
She
this.
was
Only a certain
amazing.
amount of films that do that. So that's really
Exactly.
good.
It
Yeah.
was amazing. It was amazing. And she, um, in this film, you're constantly trying to find out what the hell is going on, why they're actually on this island. And
Mm.
when you actually see what the reason why they're actually on the island, it completely knocks you for six. Like, um, and you're literally just taken aback because you're thinking it could be like a bunch of different things. And when you actually find out what it is, it's like every single thing clicks into place. And
That's like a Jeffrey Epstein thing.
you see what I'm saying, bro? Like the thing is, like, stylistically,
Yeah.
just as a film, it was very, very, very good, very good.
Okay, I'm
Um,
gonna check that out. I missed
but,
the screening for that, so everybody's been telling me kids check it out. That and
yeah,
Trap, but I'm not gonna watch Trap because
nah,
everybody's already said everything.
Trap's some dog shit film. I paid £7 for that, man.
Ah,
That was some bullshit, man. I can't lie.
I'll wait for streaming for that one.
Yeah,
The thing is, I'll check it out. But no, Blink Twice I've heard, and it's always amazing to hear when an actor goes into the kind of directorial seat and kind of be like, "Oh my God, let's see what happens." So it's like John Favreau. If you've seen his movie Swingers and some of the stuff that he's directed and been in, to
mm,
get to a point where you know this guy's heading Star Wars and Marvel, it's insane, bro. Like that's
yeah.
crazy. Like it's an amazing where a journey can take you and then kind of go from there. But I would definitely check that out. Was there anything else, bro?
I'm trying to think, to be honest, because it's annoying. There's a bunch of films coming out. Excuse me. There's a bunch of films coming
Mm.
out that I really want to see. That I really want to see. So, but I haven't. That I'd say the only other film that I've seen, I want to say is literally, like, I think Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah.
I'm sure I've probably seen a couple other 1, 2 films. Alien Romulus, I saw that.
Yes.
Uh,
Okay.
I thought it was kind of a mid film. I'll be real with you.
Hmm?
For me, it was just like the same repeated story about, a bunch of people that go into a spaceship, find some. You know what I'm saying? The typical alien storyline. I thought, because obviously I'm not too well versed on all of the alien films, so I will say that. But where I was such a fan of Prometheus and Alien Covenant, I thought that this Romulus film would sort of, tie into that. And obviously it did. I don't know if you saw it
Little bit. It
a
did a
little
little
bit,
bit, but
a little
I
bit.
didn't enjoy those movies.
What, Covenant and Prometheus?
I
A
hated
lot of
them.
people did. A lot of people didn't. Tell me why.
Yeah. For me personally, like so feel like those movies tried to get all biblical and tried to explain too much about why these aliens were created. And to
Okay.
find out that Dave, is it Dave? David,
David, yes, yeah.
annoyed flute playing
Android was the
android
one that
created the
told all of them.
xenomorphs. And it
Yeah.
was like, it took the mystery away. And the reason why I love Alien and Aliens was that we didn't know where these creatures came from. And like
Right.
everybody was dying, and it was just like, there was no, like, the mystery of not knowing where they came from
Yeah.
always would play on my head. Like I
Yeah.
kind of like the fact that I didn't know. Same thing with like the Predator franchise. I don't need to know where the predators are coming from I
Yeah.
just want to see some havoc and people run around doing crazy things. I think the
Yeah.
simplisticness of why aliens worked was we didn't know where they came from. We didn't need
Right.
to know.
Okay.
All we knew is that I'm scared, and these things have got two mouths and they got acid blood. That's
I
it.
see.
And
I
I
see.
like the mystery of that. And I think that's where movie making now is where that as an audience, we're told too much.
Yeah.
We don't
We
get to
are.
sit down and think. And that's why people like Christopher Nolan make movies to actually make you think. Like Christopher Nolan's Interstellar inspired me to write my own book.
Oh,
Uh,
really? Wow.
and like and I remember coming at that cinema like in aura and I was like, oh my God, why is my head like hurting like this badly? But it made me interested in science. It made me interested in science fiction.
It's crazy you're saying that. My sister loves. She's a massive film person, in it. She loves
Yeah,
Interstellar.
bro, it's
Um,
a beautiful movie. And like,
just to
yes,
piss her
it's
off, I say
love
it's a
and
shit
time,
film.
man.
Just to piss her off, I say it's a shit film and everything. Like,
Yeah, like I
it's
love it
like,
because he makes you think. Even with the Batman Begin movies, he didn't
yeah.
tell us the story about Batman and what he was getting up to. He was going through the pain of what Bruce Wayne
Mm,
was going through. That was the
I,
first time it was expressed about Bruce Wayne's pain, and I'm like,
I,
damn.
I loved what he did with Batman because I feel like he was the first director to make Batman be viewed as superhero to
Yeah,
be in a serious, greasy, like on smoke type of light. Do you see what I'm saying? Like
exactly.
prior to that point, I don't think superheroes were viewed in the same way. That type of Batman, I feel like you could be walking down the street and that shit you'd see that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like you would never. It's crazy though because of the vision as well. A lot of people like don't get it twisted. Heath Ledger did a phenomenal job, but in order
Mm,
for Ledger to be the Joker he was, you need Christopher Nolan's vision. In
yes.
order for that to come to light. And I feel like like he did such a good job because it completely reshaped what we knew the Joker to be. Because
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
prior to that point, maybe in like a couple of TV shows, I'd say the only sort of like menacing Joker that we got was what's his name? I forgot his
Jack
name.
Nicholson.
Jack Nicholson. Do you see what I'm saying?
Mm.
Um, but this was completely different. This wasn't like a regular copy and paste from a TV show with a little bit of darkness added to it. This was
Exactly.
someone who had some
Come,
mystery,
come.
some twisted past, who had a flipping Glasgow smile, who's most probably like military experience, trained and all of this type of thing.
Yeah, that's right.
Put in a sort of modern day context. And what I love, essentially, it was for me, especially the Dark Knight, it was very much, and even the Dark Knight Rises,
Mm.
um, was very much like terrorist films. You see what I'm saying? It was
Yeah, 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 100%. 100%.
they were pretty much terrorist films, but using Batman characters. You see what I'm saying? Um,
100%. 100%. I mean, they put it in a situation where, and that's why I love those movies, like Tenet. Not many people, Inception, I love Inception. Tenet, I love as well. Not many people kind of find that movie a bit confusing, but I
mm,
like the science behind it because that's what
right.
Nolan wants you to do. Like, he's interested in time, physics,
Yeah.
and and telling a story in a non-linear way.
Right.
And I think what he does there is great, and that's what I love as an audience is that you're making me think. And the movies in the 80s did that and the 90s, but now we came to an era where everything had to be explained and like like I don't need that explanation. And I think that's where I kind of fell flat with like Prometheus and Covenant. They are great movies.
Mm,
They're filmed very well, and I
yeah.
won't say anything about how the visuals and stuff was because some of it was insanely good.
It's cold. Yeah.
It just didn't connect to me in a way where it was like, man,
Yeah.
the biblical stuff I can't take, man. Like,
Yeah.
please allow religion, humanity, and stuff like that. Like, I came here to escape that. You end up putting real
Yeah.
world
Yeah.
stuff into this. It's
Yeah.
quite difficult to kind of connect to that. But no, so Alien Romulus. What did you think of Deadpool and Wolverine?
Deadpool. Oh, actually, before we get into Deadpool,
Yeah,
I saw another film, Longlegs. That was a pile of dog shit as well. I can't lie. That was a pile of dog shit.
that's Nicolas Cage, right?
Yeah, it was. It was. That was really disappointing. Yeah, yeah.
I don't
Uh,
know if that was a comedy or a horror because people have given it really bad mixed reviews. Well, not
no,
bad, good and bad.
it was a horror. It was a horror. Don't get it
Yeah.
twisted. But have you seen the film?
No, I'm
You
not
know,
gonna
if
watch
I
it.
spoil it, or
My wife's not gonna let me watch it, dude.
was that-
She saw some Islamic stuff videos and she was like, "Nah, Gibbs,
yeah.
we're not watching that. Forget it."
Um, so this whole build up of Nicolas Cage's character being so terrifying and
Yeah.
all completely lackluster. He looked absolutely ridiculous. Looked absolutely ridiculous. Like, what the hell was that? Um, a lot of people are quite 50-50,
Yeah.
and like they say, like Nicolas Cage has had some bad movies. For me personally, I think a lot of it boils down to the characters that he's played because of like writing and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
For example, I loved him as Big Daddy in Kick-Ass,
Hmm.
um, and I I don't really remember him as Ghost Rider because I was quite young,
Yeah.
but in this film, I thought the potential was there. He definitely got that creepiness and eeriness about him, but um, I feel like the film relied. I just feel like um, it was overhyped. Basically,
Hmm.
it was overhyped, and I felt like that the suspense and the jump scares and what they did with like the shots and the transitions were really really good. Like as a film, as very sort of like quote unquote film-esque. You know what I'm saying? When you get to the crux of why this person is doing what he's doing, it's just so disappointing, man. And I feel like it also relies on those typical like panoramic shots, those bleak like dry colors and
Mm.
the uh, the sort of staring into the camera to make scenes look creepier than what they are and to add a little bit more suspense and drama to make up for the it was one of those films, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was one of those films. That's why I didn't like it. So yeah, that was there's not really much to say on that. In regards to Deadpool and Wolverine, um so I enjoyed Deadpool and Wolverine. I loved it. I loved it. It was very different to the first two films. I feel like the first two films were Deadpool films. This one felt more like an MCU film. Um, I'm not gonna turn around and say that the plot was like absolutely crazy, but at the end of the day, like I'm not going in there to watch a flipping like Christopher Nolan film. I'm not.
Yeah. 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 100%. Yeah.
Going to watch a Deadpool movie with the notion it's gonna be have like a crazy plot like Christopher Nolan, like bro, you get out of the cinema. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Exactly.
I'm saying
Exactly.
it like there's no point. But I loved Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. I loved the cameos. I loved the fight scene. I loved as well. I I love Ryan Reynolds because I feel
Mm.
like I don't really rate him as an actor so much, but I loved him in this. I love him as Deadpool. I think he's absolutely perfect as Deadpool. And he actually cares about the characters.
He
He
does,
cares
man.
he
It
cares
was,
about the
the
characters. He
I
cares
think the
about
co.
go on.
Sorry, go on, kids, go on.
No. He cares about the characters. He cares about um catering to the source material. And mate, I'll be honest, yeah. Up until that point, I don't think I've ever fully understood what Wolverine's actual sort of powers and abilities properly were, other than the fact that he's got adamantium and that he can pop his claws. I didn't know he was on this whole I can run on all fours type of thing and then slice and this, that, and the other. And I thought that was an amazing touch as well. I love the fight scenes. I love the CGI. I loved all of the little references. Chris Evans's little bit was amazing as well. Um, and I just thought overall it was a very like well-versed movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's a good. I mean, I think, man, I absolutely loved it, man. I can say as a fan, it's a bit of a hollow movie because of the plot, but I didn't
Of
go there
course.
to see that. I
Yeah, of
saw it
course.
as I'm getting to see Hugh Jackman come back as Wolverine. I
Yeah.
was really intrigued on how they were going to bring
Mm,
him back into the M's. Like, how is he going to bring the 20th century Wolverine into this universe
mm,
without ruining the legacy again of what he did in Logan?
mm.
Because I've never liked Hugh Jackman as Wolverine.
Really?
Never. He was
But
not my
you're
Wolverine. I saw X-Men 1. I was like, who is this 6 foot Wolverine?
yeah,
No, no, I'm not
you're a
accepting
comic book
it.
fan.
Who
Yeah,
is this Australian guy, man? Who is
yeah.
this? Like, I was like, nah, man, where's this my Canadian short man syndrome guy, man? This is like, no, I'm not accepting this. But bro, he earned my respect in Logan. I was like, you know what? Like, you know what? Days of Future Past was the X-Men. I was like, hold up, you know what? Hugh Jackman,
Mm,
you're starting to look like Wolverine now. And
mm,
then I saw him he did the Wolverine, Wolverine, the Wolverine, Days of Future Past. I think after that was Logan. And when I saw Logan, I was like, you know what? 17 years, this guy been doing this role. Props to him.
mm,
He's amazing. I can now accept him as Wolverine. When I
mm.
saw him in the yellow suit, I was like, excuse me, like, why are you trying to make grown man cry for hair for? Because he
Yeah,
looked absolutely awesome, bro.
amazing. Yeah, he
So
did.
good. And like the guy, pushing again, coming close to his 60s and breaking it down like that in a uniform. He must have made
Mm,
bare people cry on set, man.
100%,
Uh,
man.
it
100%.
was it was really good. It was good fun. I love the cameos and I love what they did with the different alternative Wolverines as well, because they gave me all of my favorite comic book Wolverines.
Yeah.
Even the short one, even though they did it as a joke,
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, still, they represented the short people there for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was good, man. I think what Ryan Reynolds has done I kind of see all three movies as different movies, but the first two you could tell definitely because of the
100%.
tone of the colors,
Yeah.
that those are the 20th Century Fox ones before
Yeah.
it jumps into the kind of the MCU. But I was like, when Rob Liefeld created uh Wade Wilson, and it was like in between Deathstroke, what DC were doing with Deathstroke,
Yeah.
and his name was Slade Wilson.
Yeah.
And then Rob Liefeld created, Deadpool Wade
Yeah,
Wilson, Merc
Wade
with a
Wilson.
Mouth. And, in the comic books, he put that, if I was supposed to be in real life, I'd be like Ryan Reynolds. And the
Yeah, yeah.
fact that it's materialized in the way,
Oh my.
this is how I see the universe. And I'm kind of religious now, but I'm on my spiritual journey as well,
Of
where
course.
if you manifest something,
Yeah.
it will eventually turn up, and it takes its time. There is
Yeah.
no You don't know when it's going to happen. So
Yeah.
like you're always going to be surprised when moments like that happen.
Yeah.
So it's manifestation and hard work in the background to try and keep that momentum going. I
Yeah.
know he was the one who leaked that footage originally to get it out there because the fans are like, we need this movie.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
so I know it was him, and he's good at marketing. My guy's all over socials. Uh, so it's like it's worked out really well, and I think those movies are great. Like it's like my favorite trilogy. Like I would say Back to the Future, Star Wars, Deadpool. I can put
Yeah.
that in my collection of movies now to say
Yeah.
those are great trilogy movies. But
Yeah.
no,
Can
good one.
I
That
ask?
was a good one.
Can I ask?
Yeah.
See, when I don't know, obviously, if Hugh Jackman's going to come back as Wolverine, I personally would want to see someone else play the character. If you had any sort of ideas, like if you had to cast a new Wolverine and think of any actors, who would they be?
So we got one in this one, which I actually had on my list, which was Henry Cavill.
Cavill,
Only
yeah,
because yeah, it made the Cavalry. But if it was anybody else, I don't know why, because everybody keeps going for a younger version of Wolverine, and I'm like, Wolverine doesn't have to be young. The guy doesn't age.
yeah,
His
yeah,
healing
that's true.
factor doesn't. His healing factor allows him to take a long time to age anyway. So my guy's like 200 years old, but nobody
Yeah,
sees it.
exactly. That's
So he even says it in Deadpool Wolverine. But Carl Urban, I don't know why. I saw Carl Urban
yeah.
as a
I had that
Wolverine,
one.
but
I had
if not, but uh,
I heard some people say John Berntal.
I can see it. I can see it. He's got
Can
that
see
kind
it.
of stocky, short
He can,
build
but
to him.
I still prefer him as Punisher. I'll be
No,
real.
he's good as Punisher, man. He
He's
embodies
Punisher.
that Punisher character.
Oh my days.
I would. Who would I pick? Who would I pick? Listen, I know it's a bit old school, and I don't think he'll do the part now. But Mel Gibson, I've always seen Mel
You
Gibson as
reckon?
Wolverine. Yeah,
Yeah,
bro, from back in the days, I've always seen Mel Gibson. I think he could have played because there's a part in the beginning of Lethal Weapon 1 where
yeah,
he's like absolutely nuts, you know,
yeah,
and he's like, shoot me, shoot me. He's telling Danny Glover to shoot me. I wake up every morning ready to put a bullet in my head, but for some reason I'm still here. And I see Wolverine in that because he carries that one bullet with him. And that's what Hugh
yeah.
Jackman's character did. But who else was there? There was somebody else. I mean, I know
You know what?
Radcliffe was getting thrown around, but I'm
Yeah,
like, nah, I
Radcliffe.
can't see Harry Potter.
Go on.
Man, little Harry Potter. But he's versatile in his acting.
You got to
Like
remember as
so
well.
good.
Exactly. You got to remember
So
as well.
good.
You got to remember
He-
people when Nolan first said that Heath Ledger was going to be cast
yeah,
as
yeah,
Joker.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You put in the romance kid in this. Are you sure? And even with Matt Reeves as Batman,
Batman,
like
yes. Oh, bro.
do you know what? Yeah, it actually pissed me off as well because so many people were like, "Oh, the Twilight guy is gonna be Batman." You know how old that film was? Have you seen the other films that he's been in? Like,
They're old, bro.
if
My guy started off in Harry Potter, right?
exactly, like if you see
Yeah.
the films that he's in now, you know that he's not to be he fucked about
No,
with in
you can't
regards to
mess. No, he's got some great movies, bro. I think
great.
that like Daniel Radcliffe and Robert Pattinson. I think they have such a range in their acting
Mm.
skills because some of the movies that they've done, I'm like, I saw something recently with Daniel Radcliffe. Weird, the Alkovich story, which is on Prime
Yeah,
now.
without
Bro,
yeah,
Radcliffe is brilliant in it. The
yeah,
movie is outlandishly wild. It
yeah.
doesn't make no sense, but that's Weird Al Yankovic. So to play this character and the way they did this, and I'm like Daniel Radcliffe's got range, man, and it's
Yeah.
I'll stick with that. He's really good at that. But I can't think of anybody else playing.
Do you know
Wolverine's
what?
one of those characters that's quite tough.
I I don't know how it would work. I'm 50-50. It literally just come to mind. Um, James McAvoy. I can't lie. I'll be interested to see what he would do because
Ooh.
I think if he wanted to, because obviously he got buffed up as well for this new film. I
Yeah, but
think
if you saw him in Split, he was like
exactly.
massive.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
no, he's another guy who's got range, man.
Oh,
He
I
got
love James
range.
McAvoy, man.
He's a good actor, man. I like everything he's done so far. He's got good range.
Very good.
He knows
Very
how to connect to his characters.
100%,
And
100%.
this new one, everybody keeps telling me, like Kibbs, he's like they go. Some people have told me it's one of the best films this year. So that's really hard because we've had some good films this year.
We have,
We've had some good films. We've had some
yeah,
good films.
we
But
have.
going into films, I want to
Go.
hear, and this is a rough version. It doesn't have to be exact. But I want to hear your top five, dude. What's your top five movies? Your go-to movies or your all-time favorite? Like just five
This
movies. Just pick them out, bro.
so
Give me some context.
I wrote them down. I wrote them down.
Awesome. That's
Obviously, if it is a rough listing, I'll probably like say some other films later on.
all
But
right.
um, in no particular order. So I'm gonna say Whiplash first and foremost. Phenomenal.
Wow. That's a
Um,
good film.
very good film. A
What made you
very
pick that?
What made me pick that?
Yeah, like Whiplash is like one of those specific movies that people either like or dislike. But what connected to you with that movie? Because I love that movie.
Mm,
Like I love that because I connected with Miles's character in that one. It's about being better and that
that
focus of sacrifices and losing everything and having that type of relationship with somebody else where is pushing you, even though he's so brutal, to be a better version of yourself.
yeah, no, exactly that, exactly that. Um, I thought just as a film, the chaosness, the chaoticness of it was. I'm a weird guy. I'll be honest. I love like chaos when I watch films.
Yeah.
I love conflict. Even like a film like Uncut Gems. I was about to have a
Ooh.
panic attack, but like I loved every second of it. I loved every second of it. Um, no, I just love like those sorts of like chaotic, panicky type of films. Um, and I think it was for me the film when I was watching the film, it was always going up like this when
Tempo. Yeah.
in
Yeah.
regards to just like how interested I was, how invested I was. But then you see when it gets to the last like drum solo, for me, that's what flipped it up there. It
Beat.
literally just
Yeah,
it sent it through the roof for me because and especially because I believe Miles Teller learned the drums for that role as well.
yeah, he
Um,
did.
and just that whole idea of even though like um this guy is he's a prick, his teacher is a prick, a piece
J.K.
of shit.
Simmons, yeah, yeah.
He knows at the end of the day the lengths that it's required in order for you to reach a certain level of perfection or if not close to that. Um and if if let's just say if let's just say J.K. Simmons in that film was to die, Miles Teller would have the skills and the know-how to know what's required to reach that level of greatness with or without his mentor. Do you see what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Um, and I really love the way that they did that. I loved how, because a lot of people don't actually realize the extent of what it is that you need in order to achieve that level of greatness to the point that when they actually see what's required, they sort of back down.
Yeah,
And I feel like that type of
100%.
that and that's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing. You know, if you do that, you do that. But you need to understand that there's a certain level of sacrifice and cost if you want to reach that level of greatness. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that film perfectly captured that. Perfectly captured it. Physical pain, emotional pain, cutting off your family members,
Mm.
uh, you know, and just being this sort of stuck in this thing of obsession, but in knowing that you're gonna achieve something great out of it. Do you see what I'm saying? So yeah, there was that. There was
Yep.
that film. Um, 21 Jump Street. I know they have 22, 21 Jump. I flipping love 21 Jump Street. It's so flipping funny. I don't like to watch 21 Jump Street like often because I
Yeah.
like gaps so that
Yeah. Yeah.
I forget like all, but every time I watch it, I keep creasing. I swear down. It was so Jonah Hill, Channing Tatum. Channing Tatum is funny, bro. He
Bro.
is so hilarious. Oh my days. When he was in the park and he was like, yo, you want me to beat your dick off? And he said that with a straight face. I said, nah. I said, flip. I started creasing.
Right.
That was so funny.
That's a good
Um,
film.
his comedic timing, his chemistry with Jonah Hill was funny. Ice Cube as well.
Oh,
Uh, oh
brilliant.
my days, Ice Cube was I loved Ice Cube in that. Um,
It's
and
the
then
looks he gives. It's the looks.
yeah,
Because
the
the
looks
moment
that
he
he gives
finds
is
out he's hooked up with his daughter, you're like, what?
yeah
Like
that in
I
Sentinel,
crack up.
yeah
It's funny you say that because I watched that like last week
yeah
randomly. I was like, you know what? Let me just watch this. I haven't seen it in ages. And you're right. Those type of movies, when you watch them a couple of years later, still have those slapstick comedy moments that really still
100%.
stick and still funny to this day. I
Yeah
mean,
yeah
yeah, brilliant. That's a good one. That's a good choice.
yeah. So 21 Jump Street, that one absolutely flipping love that.
Yeah.
Um, Next one, Incredibles. I love that one. I love that one. I grew up with watching that film.
Yeah.
I keep watching it. Sort of every sort of uh, well, not every sort of. I'd say like give or take every sort of like 5 6 years or something like that if I have time.
Okay.
I notice, but it's not intentional. It's just because so many films are coming out that I'm just so focused on doing this that I sometimes forget. Maybe I sometimes forget that it might be cool to check out a film from my childhood. And obviously, when I'm checking out these films much older, I'm starting to realize like all of the sort of the the subtext and the hidden meaning.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I also appreciate how dark the Incredible films were because they weren't like, you know, there was no the censorship laws back then, they were much more lenient as opposed to what they are now.
yeah,
Um
yeah. Definitely, definitely. It's the
and
Fantastic Four movie we never got.
yeah. Um Literally mate, I loved it. I loved how it explored like the whole theme of family.
Mhm.
It was chaotic as well when it comes
Yeah,
to just hearing the family, like hearing these two fight, that or the whole family fight and argue and get into disputes. It's something that we all can relate to. You know, we've all
yeah,
been in those
100%.
situations. But doing it in the context of it being like a superhero film, I thought was just a really nice touch because it was something that you know you don't really normally see. You don't see like superheroes and like the superheroes with sort of family. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
In that family dynamic. I loved the villain Syndrome, how
Yeah,
he was just like, bro, this guy was
that's
on
a proper villain.
he was
Proper
on
villain.
smoke, you know, like
Yeah,
bro,
proper villain.
this
Yeah.
guy decided to flipping annihilate every single superhero just because his idol said, "Hey, listen, get the fuck
No,
out of
I
here."
don't need no sidekick.
Yeah, man. Like, bro, get the fuck out of here, man. Bro, he was on smoke. He said, you know what? All right, cool, say no more.
Taking
That's
you all out one by one. Good on. That's a
exactly
good villain, bro. That
that
is a
is a
good
good
villain.
villain, you know. Like
Yeah, that is a very
crazy.
good villain. When you think about
Very,
it as an adult, this guy eradicated all of those guys. Like, nah, man, I'm not messing with him, bro. I'm
yeah,
cool.
exactly.
I'm alright.
Yeah, exactly. And I think as well, um, I just loved how, yeah, it was just a very good villain. It was someone that like you could understand why he sort of felt the way that he did as well.
Yeah.
Um, what else? Um, I also, excuse me, I also loved
No.
how there was that there was that theme of you know, the husband being a hero back in his glory days when he was
Yeah,
younger, doing X, Y, Z, and this, that, and the other, you know, being praised for his work, and then him feeling like he's trapped, even though he met the woman of his dreams, being stuck in this, you know, typical 9 to 5, not doing what it is that he really wants to do.
yeah,
And all of a sudden, something happens which causes him to fall back into that life. And then, you know, there's another woman involved, but like it's not really a thing, but it sort of is a thing, maybe.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then it just sort of that type of aspect of it as well, because again, a lot of men,
That's
they, you
reality, bro.
know what I'm saying? Exactly. A lot of
That
men,
is reality.
that
Shit
is
like that
reality.
happens. It can happen
Exactly.
to any one of us, bro.
Exactly.
And it's
Exactly. So
dangerous. And I think like
it's
it's weird how they put that. That's an adult life, man. You're
mm,
putting it in a cartoon form, but I
exactly.
think is that's like a little silver lining message for the adults that are watching it. But like, hey, man, don't cheat, man.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly, exactly. Yeah, because this
Don't
is what
cheat, man. You're gonna mess up everything you got. You know what I mean? Because some people don't realize you've got everything right in front of you.
yeah.
And I think we forget that at times, being a dad, boyfriend, lover, whatever, we
Mm,
forget that we have the most important things right in front of us. But we're greedy, man. And then
mm.
we feel wanted in that process. And I think
Oh,
that's what
yeah.
happened to his character was like, suddenly I'm feeling wanted
Exactly.
and it's not coming from the people that I love. So if it's
Exactly.
coming from an outsider, you're easily drawn to that. And we're all about mystery, bro. We love mystery, man. Like
Yeah.
we're always gonna step on the edge and be like, I'm gonna
Yeah.
keep stepping on it. I'm gonna keep stepping on it. I'm not gonna go over, but I'm gonna keep stepping on it.
Yeah.
Soon you're gonna go over, and then that's when you're gonna make a whole bunch of mistakes.
100%.
But it's how you hold yourself back. I think integrity and you as a character. But yeah, that
Yeah.
film is deep. Nah, yeah, you've just given it much more of a deeper meaning to
Yeah.
that film,
I
guys.
was
If
just,
you
bro,
guys,
I was literally just watching it. Bro, I was literally watching it like last week with my mum. And obviously, I'm thinking to myself, oh, yeah, you know, it was Incredibles was cold and this, that, and the other. But then when I was watching it, I'm like, right, this is actually much deeper than what, you know, I thought and everything. I also like the aspect of the espionage and the spy sort of thing of it. It was low-key like a decent spy thriller.
oh
Um,
yeah, definitely.
we've already talked about this, but The Dark Knight.
Ooh, big movie, big movie.
Do you know what it is though? Yeah. So my uncle, he
Yeah,
loves Dark Knight, and just to piss
yeah.
him, I said it's a shit film, it's a tired film, and everything. What the hell did you just say? Uh, yeah, yeah.
Oh,
He
it's okay, it's
so
okay, it's okay.
he
I'm a
with
bit
him,
fun.
and I'll be honest.
Yeah,
At the time,
yeah.
I didn't actually rate Dark Knight. I can't remember the
Oh,
reasons why. I can't remember the reasons why. But mate, I watched it again. And I was like, I don't know why the hell I said all of this because this is an absolutely flipping phenomenal. Genuinely, um, I think it was what was it? I loved how, like I said, Christopher Nolan's vision for this character of Batman is something that we've never ever seen before.
yeah, no, it's one of those movies where it's like you can't top it. Like I
Yeah,
don't think there's any other movie that can top that character or just the way that it made us feel, bro. Because as you
exactly,
said, that movie was based on like a terrorist situation, bro.
exactly,
It's a big
exactly.
major, so it made us connect to us like every day. Like it's grounded on a
Very
different level.
grounded, very, very
Grounded and like
grounded, very, very, very grounded. And I like that because, you know, you could, something like that could happen. Do you see what I'm saying? A guy
yeah,
could get so much power, and so much influence, and literally just start making things, you know, like blow up and go off and this, that, and the other. I liked how, you know, the character of the Joker, because of the character of the Joker, we got Two-Face. You see what I'm saying? He
yeah,
wasn't
yeah, yeah. That's right.
he wasn't like the normal way we got about him, where, you know, he was already like messed up in the head. He got manipulated by the Joker into becoming the character that we know. Um, that I really loved. Um,
Now that was a great
what?
touch to that film because it was like, how do you introduce? Because as you know, the MCU, every time you introduce more characters into it, it can get messy. So
Yeah.
how do you still keep it focused on how they interact with each other and how much screen time they get, and still crucial to the actual storytelling? I think
Yeah,
is quite
exactly.
important. Yeah, so they did that really well. Like I think Aaron Eckhart, who played Two Face as well, he
Yeah,
doesn't get rated as much with some of the movies that he does. But as Harvey Dent, bro, I
yeah,
thought he was
it
absolutely
was
wicked.
cold. And
Yeah.
what I loved as well, yeah, was you seen this film, Batman doesn't win. He doesn't win
Nope.
in this film. He does not win.
He loses
Um,
hard in this one.
he loses, but also, um, it's only because Joker basically stops applying the pressure and is like, you know what? I fuck
Yeah.
with you're the only person that's been able to keep up with my fuckery. And because you know what, yeah, like I'll allow you, so I'll see you soon. It's just obviously a shame what happened because I think we were the third film was gonna have bring back Heath Ledger. Um, but at the same time, um, as a standalone film, it definitely is up there as being like one of the greatest films of all time. It really, really was. It really was.
100%.
I love Heath Ledger's Joker. I love what he did. I love the fact that we knew absolutely nothing about him, but know everything that we needed to. Um,
Exactly. Exactly.
he didn't have a context, he didn't have a backstory, he didn't have you know, things that we knew of, but from what it is that we got, we knew that he was somebody who just wanted to watch the world burn, who had absolutely no internal conflicts in his mind, was just like he said, an agent of chaos, but is a mastermind criminal. And it also, um I like how I don't like it with all films, but in some films I like how the director leaves sort of little things up to interpretation. I don't like it in all films. I feel like if as a director you're doing it too much in your films, then I think it's because it's a bit lazy. It comes down to lazy writing. Um,
Hmm.
but in this film in particular, um, oh, what's it called? In this film in particular, I definitely loved the whole thing of, you know, there being small little like mysteries about this character, about the fact that he's got no ID, the fact that he's got a flipping Glasgow smile, the fact that in
Yeah.
spite of him just being like a terrorist, he's actually a well adept hand-to-hand fighter. Do you see what I'm saying? Could that could
Yes, that's right.
Exactly, and that possibly could allude to the fact that he might have been in the military or special forces before, and then, you know, lost the plot or some shit like that. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's things like that that I like. Um, so yeah, that's that. And last and definitely not least,
Hmm.
um, I need to watch these films again, and it's either one of the two. It's either Into the Spider-Verse or Across the Spider-Verse. Um,
Ooh, bro.
I absolutely flipping amazing, absolutely flipping amazing.
Into the Spider Verse is like one of my top 10 favorite movies in the entire
Yeah,
world.
yeah,
Like 100% when I saw that in cinema, and this is me being an adult, I came
yeah,
out in tears.
yeah.
And I'm not ashamed of saying that because I think as I've grown older, I've accepted the fact that there are some things that are going to be truly going to make me happy. When I had my daughters, it was an emotional time.
Yeah.
Uh, but there are some movies that when I came out, I was like, oh my God. And that's one of them.
Yeah,
Uh, Into the Spider Verse, what they introduced with visuals, story, Miles' story as
amazing.
well. It's like,
Yeah,
how am I going to get? Because I know Miles in the comics.
yeah,
So it was like, how are they going to do this?
yeah.
Like the animation from the trailer looks amazing. The soundtrack sounds really good.
You
How are
see
they
the
going to make me connect?
Bro, you see the way the animation and the art style. I thought
Yeah,
those things were just so unique. I thought like I said, the animation, the art style, I thought was something that we haven't seen anybody do before. Um, and the way they went about it, having these drawn characters and then obviously adding like small little comic strips to it as well. But not sacrificing the importance of, you know, good character writing and a good plot. You see what I'm saying? Um,
100%.
I really loved Across the Spider-Verse as well, but I can't watch it because I'll get so pissed off knowing that I'm not gonna see the next film after that for like another, I don't know, however many years. I don't know if you saw that post about it being till 2027. So I don't even know if that's going to be true or not. I hope it's not. But even that film alone, I thought uh, I thought was amazing. I loved how, in spite of these characters being being hand drawn and seemingly for kids,
Mm.
it was like Incredibles in the sense that these characters had substance. They had a lot of everything was very, very sort of like, you take a look at all characters
Yeah,
and you can always understand where it is that they're coming from. The film does a very good job in seemingly make Miguel look like the bad guy, and in a way he sort of is, but you can understand why he's doing what he's doing because he's been in the situation that Miles has been in before, and he's had it fucked up, and he's the one that's literally the only person who seems to give a shit about keeping everything together. But then you've got
exactly.
Miles, who's like a young man who's constantly being told what to do, who constantly wants to do his own thing, but people that think they know his life and think they know what it is that he wants to achieve are telling him how to go about living his own life, and he's just like, bro, fuck that, fuck all of that shit. And then
Exactly.
yeah, and then oh, you see when he goes to the wrong universe, and then he sees the Prowler Miles, and then they
Oh,
square off. And then do you know what I loved about it? Yeah, what I loved was you got um you got the normal Miles basically
mm,
say, "Oh man, listen, look, please, you need to set me free. I
yeah.
need to save our dad." And then the other Prowler Miles was like, "Nah, G, like you ain't going nowhere. I'm gonna pick you up." But then Prowler Miles was like, "No, seriously, you need to listen, please. I want to get out." And then Normal Miles is saying all of that, and then Prowler Miles is like, "Nah, G, like you're staying here." And then Miles, the original Miles, is like, "Yeah, so you're not gonna play nice? All right, say no more. So you're gonna do that? Yeah, cool. We can do that. We can do that." And then you see, I love how like you see the expressions change from Miles looking really worried and concerned to flipping, "All right, cool. It's on now."
Yeah, 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 yeah.
You see the little flicker of electricity come through. Oh man, I said, yo, this is fucking cold, man. This
So
is
good. So it's like little details that they put in there, which is just like,
little details that also make like the film connect together in such
yeah,
an,
yeah, yeah,
I'm saying, like,
100%.
the glitching of the spider in the first film, I completely like threw me off that the spider wasn't even from his universe. That's the reason why it was glitching. You see what I'm saying? Ah, man.
So
Yeah,
cool, right? So
yeah.
cool. I think, yeah, no, that's a great. Yeah, you picked some amazing movies in there, bro. Some of my favorites as well. I feel like it's really good, really good, really good. All right, man. Listen, I'm not going to keep you here too long, bro. I just want to say thank you for coming on the show and having
No
a
problem.
conversation
Thank you
with
for having
me. Uh, Thank you for bearing with me while I'm being a dad and changing nappies and feeding this little one while I'm
me.
doing
No
it. So,
problem. No
as everybody
problem.
knows that listens to, I do bare random things, bro. I multitask while I do the episode, but it's like, it's one of those things to let people know that there's still things need to be done. And
Yes.
yes, it's always nice to try and single out sometime, but it's really difficult as a dad to try and look after kids at the same time. But I still love doing this show because I get to connect with people like yourself as well, Nick. So
Thank you, bro.
massive
I
thank you for
appreciate that a
coming
lot.
on and making that time for me. Uh, Guys, as always, actually, hold up. You hungry? Yeah? All right, let me give this. Let me sort her out, and then I'll do a nice little outro for us. There you
Yeah, no
go.
problem.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Guys, as always, a massive thank you for listening into the show and jumping on YouTube. Usually, I'm all about hit the subscribe button and like button, dislike, comment, dislike, or whatever. Show the podcast some love. Show Nick some love as well. Nick's
Thank
socials
you.
are all
Thank you.
in
Thank
the description, guys. It's a Nick Sing reviews.
you. Thank you.
My little girl, she is proper upset, man. She's not happy at all.
Is it?
Uh, she's not happy, man. Oh, here we go. Look, there you go. Mm. Your mom set you up. I know you don't like those flavors. Sorry. Uh, but yeah, now guys, go follow Nick on his journey as well. All of his links are in the description. And if you guys got any questions, like now I'm starting to take a lot more questions on, guys, hit us up on the social media pages. Guys, we've got donation links in our donation links in the bios of our social media pages and at the below here as well for medical help in Gaza at the moment as well. So guys, whatever you can do, do your part. even if it's like £1, it goes to them. They
Hundred,
deserve it. They need it right now.
hundred
So we've
percent.
got the links in there as well. And then check out our social media pages if you guys want to know what we're up to. Yesterday we did the Batman Unmasked exhibition, which is in London at the moment now. You guys can grab your tickets. That link will be back down below. If you're a big fan of the Batman movies and you want to see the live props, like it's insane how cool Matt Reeves' Batmobile is, bro, in real life.
Yeah, yeah, the muscle
Like,
car. Yeah,
which
man.
which area are you based in?
I'm in Southampton. Southampton. I'm not
All
in
right,
London.
cool.
Yeah,
If you
yeah,
get
yeah.
the chance, man, they've got it for a couple of months down in Covent
Oh, really?
Garden.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
bro, like Batman Unmasked. Let me see if you can see that in the camera. There we go,
Oh, shit.
Batman Unmasked.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, so it's open now. I think it's open for a couple of months. They've got all the live props from all the movies, bro. Even
Well
Batman,
done.
Robin, Batman Forever.
Oh,
Uh,
shit.
I haven't posted my video yet. I got back last night and I was like, I'll do it later on today.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
but yeah, like check that out. Shout outs to DC UK because DC UK always hooks a brother up. I got to say they've given some great opportunities, but thank you for the invitation yesterday. And there's more to come. We've got some really cool things happening. Check out Gilman's episode of the Brothers Geek Out podcast. He's got another guest coming on soon as well. So listen, man, you guys are absolutely awesome. I always have to shout you guys out because if it's not you guys listening or watching us, we don't get to do the cool stuff that we share with you lot. So basically, you come with us on that journey, which is amazing. So thank you so much for that. Nick, thanks again, bro. I'm not going to keep
Thank
you.
you. Thanks for having
Yeah.
me. Cheers.